So welcome, Mr. Whitman and Mr. Mashar, and we're going to briefly talk with you about science course selection for next year. Okay, you will be signing up on Infinite Campus. I think it starts next week or maybe the Monday after. I think it's a week from Monday, I think, is when you start. 19th somehow sticks out in my head. But you guys will be signing up for next year's science courses, okay, or next year courses, period, all right? And we feel like we want to give you a little information about the science courses that are available to you if you're wanting to sign up for a science course. So we'll start with the courses themselves. We've got level 3 courses. Those are the prep level. You got astronomy, geology, and environmental science. Those are all one semester courses. Honestly, if you're in this class, you would probably only take those if you literally only have one semester room in your schedule next year, okay? Most of you are going to probably take a level 4 or level 5 class. Level 4 classes, they're all one-year courses. There's 3 of them currently offered. We've got dual credit astronomy, we've got organic chem, and we've got anatomy and physiology. And those are more or less continuations to a degree of a previous course you've had. If you had biology, well, all of you should have had biology as a freshman, and you liked it, but you're not really sure about taking AP biology, or in addition to AP biology, you could take anatomy and physiology. And as the name suggests, it's about how the human body works, you know, both the physical aspects and also like chemical and so on. So like one thing they do at some point in the second semester is they go and visit a cadaver lab. Because that's how you study the human body, you know. So yeah, there's stuff like that, you know. If you're thinking about any kind of medical field, like physical therapy, doctor, nurse, that would be a good class for you to take. That's the stuff you'll be doing, okay. Most of you had chemistry last year, and if you like that and want to take more chemistry, you have organic chemistry. Here at LT, that class is a very lab-oriented class, and it's a good course. If you're thinking about the medical field or pharmacy, that kind of stuff, you would want to consider taking organic chem. Here at LT, from what I understand, it's not too hard of a class. If you go on and then take it in college, it is typically a pretty hard college class. So it would be good for you to take it here to get that background info to get you ready to take it as a college student. Again, if you're thinking about any kind of medical, pharmacy, that kind of career. Then you got astronomy. So that would be, I wouldn't call it a continuation of physics, but it's related to physics. So if you like this class, you know, and you're kind of enjoying this stuff and you want to learn more about space and planets and stars and stuff, you would take astronomy, okay? Then you have your level 5 classes. Those are honors level. They're all AP. Physics, chem, and biology, you would get a year of AP credit. Environmental is 1 semester of AP credit. Now I'll talk a little more about those courses in a sec. So the 5 of them that are listed up there, you can earn college credit for those 5 classes. Things to think about when you're signing up, or if you sign up for a senior level science course. Okay, and before I do that, I'll tell you a little story. Okay, if your life's goal is to get to college, what's the most important year in high school? Probably junior year, right? This is the last full set of grades a college admissions advisor is going to see. You're going to start applying for colleges, most of you, in October, November next year. You won't have any grades yet as your senior classes. So if your goal is to get to college, gee, you're almost done. You got like 3 months to go, 3.5 months to go, right? Okay. However, if your goal is to get through college, your most important year is your senior year of high school. Okay, and I got a little story to go with that. It's a true story. So I went to Purdue. You know, there's my flag up there. I had a roommate, and we were both in mechanical engineering. And as a freshman in most colleges stay in the dorm, so we were all staying in the same dorm. And we got to be good friends with the 2 guys next door to us and the 2 guys next door to them. the 6 of us did a lot of hanging out together, did all the, the cool social stuff together, had a lot of the same courses, okay? We actually all played in the same intramural basketball team at Purdue. It was great. I actually got to play against Glenn Robinson, who was a NBA player, eventually became an NBA player for the Milwaukee Bucks. The reason he wasn't playing Purdue basketball yet, he wasn't actually academically eligible. So freshman year, he played intramural basketball. I got to play against an NBA player. It's kind of cool. All right, and our team beat his team, by the way. Yeah. So anyway, so the 6 of us hung around together a lot, and I'll never forget my roommate, especially. His name was Paul. He would brag a lot about how easy his senior schedule was as a high school senior. He would, oh man, I only had 4 classes, and one of them was PE, man. I did a lot of partying, had a lot of fun, didn't do any homework. That was great, okay? Of the 6 of us that hung out together, guess how many of us made it through the freshman year at Purdue? What do y'all think? 4 of the 6 of us flunked out, including my roommate Paul. And that was because he spent his senior year of high school not doing much. He wasn't ready, all right? So what I'm trying to drive home is if you want to get through college, you want to get yourself ready, okay, you need to take your senior year of high school seriously to get you prepared for college, okay? So next year is your most important year getting ready for college. Now, into that end, we would hope that you would consider taking another year of science, okay? Some things to think about if you are thinking about taking a science course. The AP courses are all honors level, okay? Which one did you like the best? Okay, so all of you should have had biology. If you really enjoy that and you want to take more biology, you would take AP Bio and anatomy and physiology, or, okay? You all had chemistry. You should have had chemistry. And if you enjoyed that and you liked it, then you should consider taking AP Chem or Organic Chem or both, okay? If you like this class right now, if you're doing well and you enjoy it, okay, then you should consider taking AP Physics C and or Astronomy, okay? Environmental science is kind of like a tweener. It's got a little bit of all those things in it. And, I mean, obviously right now the environment's a big issue right now. That's a very quickly growing field, okay? So which one did you like the best? Everything else I'm going to say on this screen is secondary to that. Like, what did you like? Okay, now other things to consider though. Math versus reading skills. So if you're good, if your strength is learning information, knowing how things go together, doing a pretty good fair amount of reading, okay, you're probably a biology type, okay? Then biology they do is a lot of information. It's an information-driven course. There's a lot of reading you do, a lot of memorization. I took biology for a couple years, and I still, to this day, I never did great at it. It was tough for me because a lot of information, okay? And some people are really good at that. That would be the biology type people, okay? On the other hand, if you enjoy a good formula, all right? If you are not intimidated by algebra, if you kind of like math, all right, you're probably more the physics type, right? For Physics C, there's not a lot of reading, there's not a lot of memorization, but there's a lot of math, okay? It's a very mathematical course. And I would put the other ones in between. Chemistry, environmental science, and astronomy, I would put them in between. There's some information and some math, okay? Biology and physics would be the kind of the extremes, all right? Labs. So biology does a lot of labs, partially because you haven't, at that point, you wouldn't have had biology for 3 years, so it's been a while. They do more involved labs than you would have probably done freshman year. Chemistry does a lot of labs as well, because same thing, it's been a couple years. For physics, we only do a couple labs, and that's because most of the labs that we would have you do, you're doing this year anyway, and we don't feel like repeating them as very that beneficial. Environmental science, I honestly don't know. I'm sure they do labs. I don't know what kind of labs they do though. Astronomy, they do a couple things. They do what we call night sky viewing, so they actually go outside and look through telescopes at the stuff out there, planets and nebulas and stars and such. And they also do computer labs, because a lot of astronomy is done on computers now. Okay. The next two kind of go together. You've got Head Start and Field of Choice versus Eliminate Required Course. Let me explain that. And I'll use kind of me as an example. So I started off in mechanical engineering at Purdue. So let's say you just as an example, you're going to do engineering in college. And if you're going to do engineering in college, you probably would think about taking Physics C. Okay. So let's say you take Physics C and you do okay, you do well in the AP exam. If you do well in the AP exam scored 1 to 5, 5 being the best score. If you get let's say a 4 or 5 on the exam, then you got a choice at most schools. You can either take that college credit and then you would start in the next course. You leapfrog that course and you get ahead. All right? Or if you are, let's say, not going to go into engineering, let's say you're going to go into business or whatever, foreign language, whatever. You might be asking, some of you might be right now be going, well, I'm going to go into business. Why would I take an AP science course? All right. Well, it turns out what you want to do, whatever school you go to, if you're going to go, let's say, again, I'll use a business as an example. If you're going to be a business major, you have to take general electives. You got to take writing and English. You got to take science. You got to take math. You got to take history. Okay? So even at Purdue in my mechanical engineering stuff, I had to take history, and I took foreign language, and I took English and other stuff too. So if you're going to be a business major, it still behooves you to take a science class here at LT, get the college credit now so you don't have to take that course in college. You can skip it, which then opens up more room for you in your schedule. So if you've eliminated a couple courses that you don't have to then take in college, that gives you more room to take courses that you want to take in college, or you can just lighten your load, or there's some people that graduate early. So that gives you options. Now, a real quick side note, college credit, a credit hour is roughly equivalent to how many hours per week you spend in class. Okay, so like a 3 credit hour course roughly means that you spend 3 hours per week in class for that class. Most science classes are 4 credit hours per semester. Some are 5, okay? Some are 3 depending on the science course, but on average they're 4 semester credit hours per semester. Most colleges, you need something on the order of 120 something credits to graduate, okay? So example, let's say you take AP Bio. That's 2 semesters of biology credit. That's between 8 and 10 credit hours, which is a big chunk of that 120 something credits you need to graduate. And if you do that in, let's say, one science class and maybe a math class, maybe English or something, then you've got a significant chunk of your college stuff done. Okay, you've got a good head start. Okay. So that's the difference between Head Start and Field Choice versus, hey, I want to go into business and I want to get the science out of the way. Okay. The strengthening versus credit, let's go back to the engineering example. So let's say you want to go into mechanical engineering. Okay. You probably want to take Physics C then. If you take Physics C and you do okay in the AP exam, you got 2 options with that. One option is, okay, I did well in the AP exam. I think I got this stuff down cold. I am ready to start the next course at U of I or Purdue or wherever, all right? Versus, so that would be credit. Versus, okay, I did okay in Physics C, I got it, but you know what? I think I want to go ahead and still take it in college anyway, because I'm not like totally sure I've got all of it, okay? So that would be the strengthening. You would take it here to get you ready for that same course in college. In Physics C, I have students do both. I would say most of them take the credit and move on. They eliminate a course and move on. But I do have some that say, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take it again in a college. And both are fine, okay? I will mention this, whether you're doing the business major type thing or the engineering major type thing, odds are the science class you take here you're going to get more attention than you would in a typical college freshman year science class. So for instance, for like in this class for Physics 1, we see you every day for almost an hour, 5 days a week. So you get a lot of interaction and you get a lot of help, okay? My freshman year physics course at Purdue, I walk in to a lecture hall, which had approximately 250 students in it. Professor out in the front lecturing for about an hour. We did that twice per week. And then once per week for about an hour, we had what we called recitation, where you met with a teacher assistant in a class of about 25 or 30 people. And that was it. Any other help you needed, you could go in for help, but those 3 hours of the week, that was your physics instruction. So it's a little different here at the high school. At the high school, you get a lot more interaction with the person that's teaching you. So odds are, like let's say you're going to be a business major, you might still consider taking an AP Science class now to get it out of the way so that you can then, when you go to college, you don't got to worry about taking that science class. Okay. Each AP Science course is a full year. So physics, chem, and bio are all full years. It's 2 semesters. Environmental and astronomy, it goes through the full year of high school, but they're each 1 semester of college credit, about approximately 4 credits. So environmental and astronomy about 4 credits, physics, chem, and bio about 8 credits. Okay. The prerequisites for the courses, if you're in this class right now, you probably meet the AP Chem, Bio, and Environmental and Astronomy prereqs. You're already set. You can take any of those. For physics, the only additional requirement is you have to be in calculus or have taken calculus already. Most of my students are, as seniors, they're taking physics C and calculus at the same time, which is fine. There are 2 calculuses, by the way. There's Calc AB and Calc BC. Both are fine. Okay. Now, I'll mention that really quick. I strongly recommend calculus here at LT. Those teachers do an outstanding job. Calc AB is 1 semester of college calculus spread out over this course of the school year. Calc BC is 2 semesters of college calculus spread out over the year. Okay, so I would recommend those courses. So for a few of you, if you're currently in advanced algebra right now, and you maybe want to take calculus here at LT, consider signing up for summer school trig pre-cal. Every year we get a few people to do that and they do okay. All right, it is not easy, but you can do it. Okay, we put the instructors up there for you. So if you want to ask about physics, me or Mr. Sherman can certainly answer your questions about that. If you want to ask about biology, Ms. Pramazel and Patel teach it currently. If you talk to me or Mr. Witt, we can tell you where to find them during the day. So if you want to go talk to if you're not sure what you're going to choose, I would talk to the teacher. Okay. Chemistry, it's Bornstedt or Folly, depending on the year. Then for environmental, we got 3 people up there. For astronomy, we got Mr. Murphy, who's in the office right now. So if you want to talk about astronomy with him after we're done, hop on over and ask him. Okay. He'd be happy to share that information with you. So if you're not sure, talk to those teachers. Okay, they're going to be able to give you a lot more information on their particular courses. Typically, LT does really well on the AP exams, all of them. We have last year's data up here. So let me kind of explain this chart a little bit. We had the number of students tested. We have the percent of them getting a 5 and a 4. And then we added those up to get the percent getting 4 or better. The vast majority of colleges, if you get a 4 or 5 in the AP exam, they're going to give you that college credit, and you can move on to the next course if you so desire. Okay. Mr. Sherman kind of ranked them in rough order of who got 4 or better. Calc BC did pretty good, huh? Now physics, that's Physics C up there. Physics, the 2 semesters are completely separate. You actually take 2 separate tests. Each test is an hour and a half. So that's why there's 2 different scores up there. It's a 1-year course, but it's the AP exam. It's separated into 2 separate semesters. We do pretty good on that, right? You got astronomy. The vast majority of them receive credit. Up through this year, you had to get a B or better in there to get credit. I think next year they're changing it so if you get a C or better, you get college credit. So that percent will actually go up. Now, just a quick note, biology, they kind of had a off year. They're usually better than that, just FYI. So who knows, maybe it was a really hard test year or something like that. The ones down here are kind of low. There's just not that many students taking those courses, so it's kind of hard to do a ranking or a percent with them. We did put a Physics 1 up here, even though you're not taking that next year. You've already taken it, or you're taking it now. But we kind of want to share that with you. So the 229 students took the AP exam last year. 8% of them got a 5, and 34% of them got a 4. And then we put up here how many got 3 or above. So if you get a 3 or above, most colleges would accept a 3 as college credit too. So if you add the 5s, the 4s, and the 3s, 78% of our students got a 3 or better. National average is only about 42%. So we almost double the national average in both 5s, 4s, and 3s and overall. Okay, so we do pretty well. LT does a good job, and you guys do a good job here. Okay, now I'll make another quick plug. So I teach Physics C, so I would be remiss if I didn't offer that as a good option. If you're thinking about any kind of science and engineering field, you should consider taking Physics C, okay? Also, the ladies in here, they got a copy of this article. A friend of mine shared this with me a couple years back. It was really good. It talks about women in science and some of the struggles that they go through. If you look around the room and you look at all of Physics 1, the gender ratio is pretty close to 50-50. Okay, it's not exactly, but it's pretty close. At worst, it's 40-60 maybe. Okay. Then you look at Physics C, my senior course, and it's more like 20 or 25% are women. We would like to improve that percentage. We'd like to see it closer to 50-50. Okay. So if you are a female and you're doing well in here and you like physics, I hope that you'll consider Physics C. Also, in addition to all that, you would have a big advantage in applying to colleges. There's a big, you would have your pick of colleges more or less if you take Physics C and you do well in there. So if you get a chance, read through the article. Now these sheets of paper we gave you on the way in, we would like for you to fill these out between now and Monday and return them to me or Mr. Witt. This is not, you're not making commitment here. You're just letting Mr. Witt or I know what you're thinking about signing up for. And so we'll look at these and maybe offer some suggestions, or if we kind of feel like you're picking a good course, we'll just, no, that's good, okay? The commitment you make is when you go on Infinite Campus and sign up for courses, which again, I think starts a week from Monday, I believe, okay? That's when you sign up for your courses, and then at some point you'll talk with your counselor and make sure everything's okay before you hit, you're set. So we want you to fill these out just for us, okay, just so we can kind of counsel you a little bit, and then eventually you're going to go on Infinite Campus and sign up for your classes. When you fill these out, please, if you have a special circumstance or something, or just want to make a note, please, there's a place for notes there. If you do select none for science course, let us know why. Just so we kind of have an idea. We might come back and encourage you to think about taking a science course as a senior. There are often extenuating circumstances where a student just can't take a science course, don't have room in their schedule. Okay. All right. So before I set you guys loose here, are there any questions? And ask away. College questions, science or course questions. Well, last hour they actually had questions. No questions for you guys? Anybody? No? All right, well, between now and Monday at least, if you have any questions, feel free to ask Mr. Witt or I. And then seriously, if you're thinking about whatever, taking AP Chem and you want to talk to that teacher, we can certainly help you get in contact with them. Okay? All right, so thanks a lot. Mr. Witt's class, you're free to head back. My class, you're sticking around. There you go. Thank you very much.